last fire will rise. The last fire will rise behind those eyes. Black house will rock. Blind boys don't lie. Immortal fear, that voice so clear.
Hello, YouTubers. So for today's episode, what I want to do is something a little special, something I don't get to do very often. As you've seen a lot, in a lot of my videos, I'm a big wrestling fan. Some of my favorite characters have always been kind of the more bizarre characters. So the guy I'm talking about today definitely defines that word, bizarre. Today I'm going to review a book that I recently read. It's actually Crossroads, Goldust Out of the Darkness by Dustin Rhodes, who is well known in WWE as being Goldust, the character that he brought along, that he was most famous for portraying. I have read a lot of autobiographies by some of my favorite wrestlers. I always find it an interesting read. I always like to read their stories. So a lot of times, though, I never get around to reviewing them here, or a lot of them I read before I even had a YouTube channel, for that matter, before there may have even been a YouTube. So I thought, with just having recently read this, I thought it'd be cool to put a quick review together. So in general, I thought it was really good. He talks about his early career. He talks about making it to WWE. He also talks a lot about his personal struggle with his personal demons. He had problems with alcohol and drugs, and how he got over that. Talks a little bit about his personal life. It was really good, and I would definitely recommend it to wrestling fans, especially if you're a fan of Goldust. The only thing I would say is that I kind of wished it was a little more detailed. I don't know how exactly to explain it. It was sort of like it was written almost as though it was like his own personal journal looking back at his career. So, it wasn't very detailed. I mean, he didn't go into a lot of detail about, first winning the Intercontinental title. He didn't go into a lot of detail about, subsequent Intercontinental Championship reigns. He didn't go into a lot of detail about, programs he had, feuds he had with guys like Razor Ramon, guys with like Roddy Piper. He touched on them briefly. Didn't even talk about things like his feud with guys like Val Venus. So I just would have liked to have seen it be a lot more detailed. That's about the only, real critique I would have. I've read a lot of the autobiographies, as I've said, in particular, Mick Foley's is a good example of how he, as I said, Goldust, I kind of could say, like, you could sum it up as it was almost like it was written as his own personal journal looking over his career in the past. Whereas Mick Foley wrote, and a lot of the biographies are written in a way I think is better, which is almost as though they're reliving it, like almost as though they're living what's happening, what they're talking about right then and there. Very detailed, very like kind of a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that you're interested to read when you read somebody's autobiography. So that was about the only critique I would have. Otherwise, I would say if you are a wrestling fan and if you're a fan of Goldust, it's definitely worth at least to pick it up and read it at least once. Okay, thank you, YouTubers. Have a nice day.